Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Lisa,
And I'm Brando.
And I'm Big Mike.
and this is Brewheads.
You damn right.
And the Lord said,
Brewheads!
We're here today. We have a special guest.
Yes.
Chris DeGassero.
That's how you say it.
Yeah, you could say it any
I thought it was
which way.
DeGrasso.
Well, that would be the one incorrect pronunciation.
Got it.
That's Brando.
That's me.
People said DeGassero.
Yeah.
It's kind of all the same.
What up, D? We'll go with that.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be doing this as we're getting ready to open.
Yes.
Pretty exciting.
Yes.
Finally glad that you guys came down. That makes it seem very official now. So.
Yeah.
So, explain to the people exactly what dead language brewing is.
So essentially what we're trying to do is make a place that's more of a traditional like lager house. So everything we're going to be doing is mainly, I'd say a big portfolio is going to be just European and Czech lagers. We're going to be doing some American IPAs, no hazies. We'll be doing a Weiss beer, several variations of that, and then a traditional Berliner Weisse, Gosa, with syrups. So no like heavily fruited sours or anything like that.
Awesome. I think it's about time. Well, one, that you had your own brewery, and two, that you're bringing sexy back. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's so many beers out there and places that we go to today that are great breweries, great beers, but it's still an overly hazy, saturated market.
Right.
And people that like us who go around and try different things, the one thing we always miss is that clean, crisp beer. What
Beer
Mike always
flavored
called
beer.
the
Yeah.
Speedo of beers.
Oh, yeah.
Which you can't hide anything.
Can't hide nothing.
You can't hide nothing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Here's your lager. Here's your pills. Here's your Czech lager. Look at it. If they can do this, then you can nail everything else.
Yeah.
So having a whole portfolio of Speedos, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome.
As long as these guys are not on any labels in
No.
Speedos, please.
No.
It's not
No.
really great marketing.
I could work a Speedo.
I can't.
Oh, Lord have
Suck it in a
mercy.
little bit.
I can't.
No.
Yeah, I could suck
No
it
one
in.
wants to see that.
I want to like the old fashioned, basically what it would look like if you got shot out of a cannon.
Oh, like the...
Yeah, you know what I'm
Those-
saying.
like the
yeah,
overall
yeah,
kind?
like
Yeah, okay.
the manitard, whatever you call it. I don't know what they're called.
But yeah, essentially what we wanted to try to do was, I've been brewing for almost a decade, and the beer scene has made major shifts throughout the years.
Yeah.
And, it goes without saying that a lot of the stuff we see now is like heavily fruited sours, pastry stuff, basically anything that doesn't taste like beer anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So for quite some time, I've been looking to get back to roots and just brew the beer that I want to make. So just like real beer. My wife and I, not too long ago, took a trip to the Czech Republic just to get some research and like view the drinking culture there. And it was just something completely else. And we want to take a piece of that and bring it back here.
Yeah.
Was it, so I imagine like in the Czech Republic, the beer halls are all about community, like everyone knows each other and they're sitting around and kind of like you see in the movies where they got the big mugs in their hands and they're just kind of...
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'd say more than half the places you visit are just like a little tiny hole in the wall in a basement under some
Nice.
other building. Yeah. And you're going down there, there's one tapster on the taps. Typically, you're drinking light or dark, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
If you even have that choice. Maybe it's just one or the other. And you'll sit there and you're paying the equivalent of maybe, I would say what I would consider a tourist trap price, being in Prague, was like $3.50
Oh, wow.
for a half liter. So you're looking at like an extra
Wow.
0.9 ounces that we would typically get at a brewery. So yeah, it's
Wow.
just crazy. And you go down there and everybody's down there after work.
Yeah.
It is like their church for all intents and purposes. And everyone's just friends, and it's like one of the coolest atmospheres ever.
I think that's one of the things that I try to tell people about breweries is it's a whole community. It's not like we're at a club with the music pumping. I mean, sure, all of those things can happen.
Right.
But we make friends. We have our beer family. And it's really, nice to see more of that wanting to come in rather than saturate more gimmicky.
Yeah. Essentially, what we want to do with Dead Language Beer Project is make like the modern day beer hall. We're not trying to go for this ultra old aesthetic. At the same time, we don't want to be, one of those breweries that's just like everything has to be weird. We want to be funky. We want to be the kind of place that, you might see in Brooklyn, like a little
Yeah.
tiny pop
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just have this
Funky
like
fresh.
really cool vibe. Exactly. And just have like really good beers, really cool people, really good vibe. That's
Yeah.
all you could ask for.
That's awesome.
I can't tell you how many people that when you posted the upcoming Dead Language and your name was attached to it, the amount of people that were talking to me and Mike and Lisa and other breweries that we were traveling, like, did you hear that, Dead
Yeah.
Language, you hear Chris is going to
Yeah.
be, brewing again. You hear this. The excitement was crazy. And he's not doing hazies. And it was just like, the world needs you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it really needs you back.
I really hope I don't eat that, the whole not doing hazies thing.
I don't think you will. I don't,
don't
because
think so.
when you talk to a lot of people, you can appreciate a really dank. I mean, and I'm a super hophead, and for me, I mean, that's all I've drank for the past 10 years is the darker, the juicier, the hazier, and now it's kind of come full circle for me where, all right, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I want something crisp and fresh and different.
Definitely.
Yeah. I find that interesting. It's, you say, coming back around full circle, and I couldn't agree anymore. It seems very much that, I mean, obviously, I don't think the hazy IPA is going anywhere.
Nope.
Don't worry.
It'll always
Yeah.
be there.
It'll always
It's always
be there.
gonna be
It'll
there.
always be there. Yeah.
So it's always going to be there, to one extent or another. We like drinking them ourselves, so there's no problems there.
Yeah.
But I just think that a nice, crisp, clean IPA, I mean, you want to taste hops, right? That's the
Yes.
whole point.
Yeah. Yes.
So to me, you want the yeast and everything else to get out of the way. We don't want any proteins floating around in the beer. We
See?
don't want, we don't
You
want
don't want to
anything.
taste the yeast in your beer.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue that, like, oh, if you're doing it the right way, then you don't have yeast in suspension. It's just polyphenols, like whatever the case is. But we don't want. We want to make beers, and we want to be able to prove, I guess, would be the true extent of it. We want to prove that, look, you love hops, we love hops too. We're doing IPAs in a way where everything can get out of the way and let those hops shine, and have something that's crisp, approachable, clean, and punchy.
Yeah.
Especially with
I like
hops
it,
now
punchy.
that have gone by the wayside in favor of, the juicy, the hazy, great hops in those beers. But let's bring back some of those old hops that people don't. You're going to be making beers that a lot of people don't even know what these hops are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find more often than not that you'll be drinking beers and it just tastes. For more often than not, they taste great, but it's like anything else. You drink it and all you need to know is that it tastes great. But unfortunately, with New England IPAs, I feel that you're kind of limited to a certain variety of hops that are going to give you this kind of big, juicy, tropical profile.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, there's pine to an extent as well. But once you start moving off that path and you start going into some of the more interesting esoteric hops, like, something that might have more of like an herbal or minty or lemony, or maybe it's giving you something like fascinating like orange rind, but there's some like pith to it, or there's some like grassiness that would feel completely out of place in a New England IPA.
Right.
We can now showcase that in an American IPA, and it's like, whoa, I wasn't
Yeah.
even tasting flavors like this from all the other IPAs I've been drinking.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Comet.
I like Comet.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny because it's this hop that just gives you this beautiful, like, orange rind, orange oil, pithy, kind of citrus bent to it. Complements so well with Citra. And a lot of people are kind of scared of it, at least to use it in New England IPA, because, it has this kind of like grassy character, which, might come across as a little bit too much in New England, but when we're doing something a lot crisper, it just melts.
Yeah.
It works.
Sounds fresh, to go back to that.
Yeah.
Like refreshing. I really like the sound of that. That's That's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. We just want to kind of like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at like the whole industry as a whole, the beer culture, and go, wow, breweries are closing at an alarming rate. The economy is tough.
Yeah.
It's scary out there right now.
Yep.
And there's so many great breweries that I've been friends with and I love that have been in Connecticut and have closed down.
Right.
And it's horrible. And so to be opening up a brewery right now is very stupid. But at the same time, if you're going to do it, you better do it in a new and exciting way.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have an important story to tell, we wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Be stupid, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think your approach to your brewery is so different and out of the box, and will actually bring a different demographic that don't like IPA, so they don't go to breweries because all there is an IPA. I actually talked to quite a few people that are like, I tell them about a brewery, they have a good ale. You should go to this place.
Yeah.
Like, they have a good ale. Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah, some people just do not like IPAs, but love all the other styles.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got a great Pilsner. Like,
Yeah,
like that's just one of the things that I think is so unique about what you're going to be doing, and the fact that you're not trying to stomp out other breweries for making their hazies.
yeah,
I mean, you're probably back there once in a while brewing, drinking a hazy. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean,
It's not.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, honestly, there's so many great breweries in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And honestly, we need the breweries who are doing hazies and other
yeah,
styles.
absolutely.
We view ourselves as, being complementary. We're not trying to stomp anybody out.
Right.
Mhm.
I've been in the industry for a decade. I love everybody in this industry. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But we're trying to be supplemental. We're trying to be insofar as, hey, I love hazy IPAs. I love pastry stouts. That's awesome, by all means. But, we want to kind of be there to show you what beer was and what it can be.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing traditional styles, but we're also going to be kind of taking those and putting some spins on them. We want to kind of approach this from a different angle.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Now, do you expect, because I expect that you will probably be the place where the brewers go?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your brewer's favorite brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be the place. When you show up in here, there's 5 or 6 people
Yeah.
are brewers.
Yeah.
They're brewers at other breweries, and they just came to get something different.
I mean, I would love that. That would be,
Yeah.
I'd feel like I'd be in a great spot if that was the case. I just want to be the spot where people who can appreciate beer, this is where they come to drink it. And don't get me wrong, there's better breweries. There will always be better breweries. There's always the next one. But, if I can be a staple in that community and give people what they're looking for, not just brewers, but people who just appreciate great beer, I'm thrilled. That's all I want.
Besides a crap ton of money in return on your investment, what's your biggest hope? Besides, what would you want this, when people mention dead language, first thing they think of is?
So I will say this much. When my wife and I, it's just my wife Kyle and I doing this. We don't have any other partners, investors, nothing. It's just us. And we kind of had this mission statement going into it that, okay, well, what are we doing this for? Why are we doing it? It didn't really take that long to figure out. But we wanted to do this for ourselves. It was something where I had been floating around at different breweries doing different things. And if we were going to do this, we wanted to do this to have a place for ourselves. And really the only goal we have is we want to be recognized, at least I hope in the Northeast, as, the beer drinkers brewery, the place that's doing these amazing lagers, hopefully these amazing IPAs. And we want to be able to pay our bills and live our life. And that's it.
Yep.
I can promise you, we're not trying to sell out. We're not trying to get in grocery stores. We're not even trying to get everywhere in Connecticut. We're trying to make this more of, if you want to have it, you have to be here. Otherwise, you have to be in a pretty close vicinity. If we're going to be doing distribution, it's going to be very selected, hand-picked accounts. Ones who are going to be able to treat our beer right, be able to speak to our beer, and that's it. We're not going to be over expanding. Everything's going to be organic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Restaurants or just liquor stores?
I would say both.
Okay.
Whatever will take us.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it's like I've gone to so many accounts from breweries I've worked at in the past, and I go there and I'm just looking at the shelves and there's beer just sitting warm, and nothing just freezes me up more than that. It's like you're just taking something you put every step of the process, you've been putting so much care into it, and then it gets to the end user and it's just sitting warm on a shelf for months, and it's gross.
Yep.
Right.
So I don't want to be, and this is something I established at prior breweries I had been at, I'm not selling you beer unless you can keep it cold or treat it right.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then it's just not a good partnership. And in the end, that's what we're looking for, right? Is a good partnership.
Right.
Right.
Mutually beneficial to both, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because, like you say, nothing worse than having go through all that, and the guy you sell the beer to sell the people just destroys the beer. And the people who are buying the beer there don't know any different.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just think, oh, that's a bad beer. They made bad beer. It's like,
Exactly.
no.
And that's the thing. Maybe I sell a few extra cases, but great, I'm making a few extra $100, and now a bunch of other people think my brand is shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
What's,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
the point? What's the point?
Yeah, there's
That's what I
none.
find, like the super size liquor stores.
Oh, yeah.
Lot of mistreatment of the beer.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that do it right.
Yeah.
There's some that do it very wrong. But, I mean, you'll find that from giant stores, mega stores, to small mom and pops.
Yeah.
There's people who care and there's people who don't.
Right.
And it amazes you to walk into some of these places and, like, you know, maybe you're not really thinking much of it, but then you talk to them and they're just like, oh my God, I love your beer. I just want to, like, you know, this is your spot for it. And they just treat it with such reverence. And, like, those are the places you want to work for.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you have a great plan. I think you've waited long enough. So I think it's going to be. I'm excited. I know that. We're excited to walk in the door and
Absolutely.
see people here and try some beer.
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way, and every day feels like a dream where we're just so happy that we finally get to brew and make and serve people what we want to be doing. I never thought that I'd be in a position where I could be brewing exactly what I want to be brewing and nothing else. And that's so awesome.
Sure, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, that it is.
So your brews, like, how big of a system are you brewing in?
So for those of you who don't know, we're currently in Hog River's old location. So Ben and Joy Braddock, awesome people.
Yeah.
Have a great brewery at Hog River. And when they were looking to sell, I immediately jumped right in. I couldn't wait. So so they've been keeping this place under great condition. The equipment is in amazing condition. So we're brewing on a 7-barrel brew house, steam, which is great.
Good. Yeah.
And it's awesome because it's a 7-barrel brew house, but we have a few 15s mixed in. So the 15s will probably be brewing the bigger brands, the ones that we think are going to fly really fast.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I love lagers and as much as I think people love to drink lagers,
Yep.
I don't think they're going to be flying out the door. So those will probably be relegated to our 7-barrel tanks, of which we have 7, so there's plenty of room to give it the proper time it needs. And then we have our 15s that some of our more popular lagers will be brewed into, as well as our American IPAs, the beers that just from, prior experience we found sell faster. So we'll be doing that. A lot of the stuff that are going to be going into cans that are going to be, even more cases than usual will be in the 15s as well. So 7 barrels, I always say, I think is the perfect blend. I think anywhere from 5 barrels to 10 barrels in this climate, especially, is the perfect blend to be able to do what you want and be able to turn things over fast enough. Yeah, and not have to worry about, holy shit, I'm sitting on so much beer and I need to get rid of it right now.
Yeah.
So we're pretty happy with that. And it's also nice because with the amount of tanks that we have, one of the big things we keep touting is that we're giving beer the time it needs to finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's so many times we've been to, places, and we've drank beer where it's like, man, this needed more time. Or this has been
it's too
rushed.
green.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with these tanks and the type of beers that we're doing, we can actually just let them sit ice cold for a month, 2 months, and just let them round out. And the second they hit exactly where we want them to, that's the only time they come out of the tank.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were talking with another brewer. We were at Transcend.
Yeah.
And he's got a lager in there. He's, oh, I got to give it more time. Oh, I'm going to give it more time. And it's just like I taste it and it's like, you can't get better than this. Like, this is fantastic. But there's something that he's not done with it.
Yeah.
And it's just great to know that the next time I drink it, it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
So,
And God bless him, you know that the next time you have it, like, if that's the qualities that he's putting forth, you know that, okay, every time I go here, that's what I'm getting.
right.
And you
Right,
never have to
yeah.
worry about that. It's
Yeah.
quality over anything else.
Yeah. And if there was ever any problem, I know, it would never see
Exactly.
the tap.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. You wait until it's ready and don't push it.
Yeah. And like through the various breweries I've been at and learning the various things that I have, are there ways to technically, here's the $1 million thing. So lagers, what's the big thing about them? They take a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of breweries either shy away from them or they try to find these inventive ways to try to speed up the process and get them turned around.
Yeah.
They're kind of approaching it with the same mentality of, hazy IPAs are selling. We need to churn and burn these. We need to get them rolling. Oh, now lagers are increasing in market value. We need to, turn and burn those.
Right.
And that is exactly what you can't be doing.
No, you just got to let it go. You just got to let it sit.
Yeah,
You got to let it do its thing.
exactly. And there are ways to kind of like accelerate things a little bit. There's finding agents. There's
Pressure fermenting.
exactly this
Yeah.
fermenting under pressure to kind of clean up that ester profile.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things you can do to kind of like get you closer to where you want and get you within the realm. But the one thing I found brewing the various methods I've been doing is there is no substitution for time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be 3 months, depending on the gravity of your lager and what you're going for. Like it might be 3 weeks. But it really, you have to listen to the beer. And if you're not listening to the beer and tasting it as it goes through its process and only taking out when it needs to be taken out, you're doing it a disservice.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're doing your customers a disservice as well because they don't know what a proper lager should taste like.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta brew by the beer being ready, not by your deadline for putting out the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we've
Important.
Yeah.
we've been noticing at a couple places that we wait for certain beers every year.
Uh-huh.
And that you could tell, like, oh, this year it was like maybe they didn't have room to brew it yet. So now they're
Rushing.
now they're rushing instead of, a month. Now it's 3 weeks that they, it sits and you taste it and you're like, yeah, this tastes green. This tastes
Yeah.
a little too
Yeah.
rushed. And then you let it sit in the can for 2 weeks and drink it and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I mean, we drink lagers because we want a crisp, clean beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's like I've noticed that, let's say you're brewing a Pilsner, from the time that you're brewing it, even if you let it sit for like 2 weeks, okay, it's tasting a little clean. I kind of see where it's going. You get some like these kind of like these sharper, more bready notes from the yeast, a little bit more tangy. And, you might let it sit for a little bit longer and you go, okay, well, there's like a marginal improvement. Maybe, I'm kind of there. But no, if you give it another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, you're just noticing it leaps and bounds, changing and morphing. It's kind of amazing tasting these beers at different steps. And you're like, oh my God, there's that maltiness I was looking for. There's like some of those bready notes I was looking for. Holy shit, the hops were fading, but now they're actually coming back up full force
Right.
again.
Yeah.
These are things that you can't rush. And by giving it that proper amount of time, everything just kind of mellows out and comes back around and it gets to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school for brewing?
Nowhere.
No. Self-taught.
That's fair.
seriously?
Yeah. It's like Eddie Van Halen.
It's the same thing, and I try to liken it a lot to the culinary world because that's essentially the industry that we're in is
Yeah.
culinary. You can go to a culinary school you can go to, and don't get me wrong, there are amazing brewing schools, Siebel, UC Davis,
Yeah.
all of those, fantastic, phenomenal. And I would even go so far as to say, yeah, if you were going to work at this insane major production brewery like Budweiser, what have you, yeah, they might teach you some skills that right out of the gate are going to help you get in there and get moving. But also, just like culinary, some of the best chefs have started as a dishwasher and then just worked their way up,
Yeah.
exhibited skills, and then just gone on to lead a team and do whatever they're doing. So I view it the same way as brewing, where there's a lot of people who have education, but then you kind of throw them in there and they have no idea what the hell they're doing.
Right.
I started at the very bottom, basically forcing my way into a brewery in Manhattan when I was living there, doing anything that they would allow me to do. And then from that, just working my way up slowly but surely, researching it all day. That's kind of what it came down to. And it's experience. It's just doing it over and over and over again and seeing the results of it. And just understanding that you're always learning. You never know everything. There's always something to learn. And that goes a long way.
Did you do any home brewing?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So when I was living in Queens, I was home brewing in a studio apartment. Sorry, not a studio. It was a one bedroom. Felt like a studio.
Yeah.
And literally had like a little tiny kitchen table set up.
Yeah.
And I'd be brewing on the stove and then taking my fermenter and shoving it under the table. It was like the only space I had. And you were just tripping over things as you walked around. So yeah, it's home brewing. And again, it's like anything else, right? You can't jump into the industry without at least having an understanding or grasp of like what the process is. And there are a lot of things that are different between home brewing and doing this professionally. So I try to tell people not to get it mixed up. It's not like, oh, you homebrew at home, you love it, jump right in. The water's warm. It's the opposite. Yeah.
It's a big adjustment.
Yeah. But that being said, I mean, starting in home brewing at least lets you know, like, oh, I either love this or fuck this, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like taking up all my time and I can't, the beer tastes like shit. I don't know what I'm doing here. But then we find that you start doing that and it lets you know, okay, I can either handle this or I can't. And then from there, it kind of gives you the foundation to understand how the process works, know how everything works so you know why things happen. And then from there, now being able to understand how an industrial brewery operates and how all those pieces fit together in a greater context.
Don't sip it.
Cheers.
Don't sip it. All right.
Cheers.
The Dead Language Beer Project.
Cheers.
Wow.
You guys are the
Oh, we're the first.
third, fourth, fifth.
Wow.
Wow. Look at us.
Yeah.
Go.
I feel
Well, technically, who sipped first?
Yeah.
I kind of want to,
God.
because I kind of want to be third.
Instant replay
Yeah.
flag.
Well, look. Well, it's on video. We can. I'm probably fifth.
It is so good.
Wow.
I love the smell of it too.
It's not nitro. It's
Yeah, it's just the Lucre faucet.
Oh.
So yeah, Lucre faucets have like a little screen on the inside, like a Guinness Nitro faucet, with a little aerator, and it'll knock the CO2 out of suspension and create that thick, dense foam that looks unlike most other foams.
Yeah.
So that foam is like even more so than regular foam on beer is probably like half beer. If you just let that sit,
Yeah.
it'll turn right into beer. That's one of like the big appeals, and that's why I think I don't want. This sounds snobby. I don't want to drink Czech lager out of a regular faucet because part of that experience is getting
Gotcha.
that nice creamy.
Yeah.
taste.
Right.
Yeah.
And without that, it's its own thing,
Yeah.
which isn't bad. but-
right. Well, if you're going to do it, do it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give the entire experience.
Yep.
And you were lucky enough to go. So, I mean, why not bring that back here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just wanted for people to have like that authentic experience as much as we can possibly offer it. And as far as I know, there's not many, if any, breweries who are doing. I mean, there's only 4. I mean, technically, you can make arguments that there's like what makes an American beer, but there's like 4 main Czech styles, and we're going to be offering all 4 of those all the time. So we want people to have that experience and understand why it's so important, and then maybe make that trip for themselves and realize why it's like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Now, before you had gone to the Czech Republic, were you contemplating doing a brewery with only lagers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had the idea, we were saying we wanted to open up another brewery. And we were trying to figure out, okay, well, how would we do this? And I think the thing we decided first was, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do this for us, and we're going to do exactly what we wanted to do. Okay, well, what do we like drinking? Lagers and American IPAs. Okay, that's what we're doing then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
Wow, that was an easy conversation.
Right.
Jesus.
If all,
What do you like drinking?
Right. If all
Lagers,
conversations
IPAs.
were that easy, huh?
What do you want to do? You know, oh, man, you want to go out to eat? Where? Here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
But yeah, with this, I mean, like, obviously every beer we do is going to have several iterations before we, like, nail it.
Yeah.
With this, I came pretty close to where I wanted to be. But there's still some tweaking I want to do. I want to cut back on that hop bitterness a little bit. I would like to bring forth some of those more like bodybuilding, like caramel, chocolate kind of flavors, toffee. And there's like a hint of roast on the back end I would really like to eliminate altogether. I think roast can be a little out of place in a Czech dark, but that's just me.
I actually like that.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I was going to say the same exact thing. It's like, that's the part.
I like that. Because it's like a surprise at the end. Like you have this really flavorful beer, and then it just gets that nice little roasty at the end. Roasty, toasty.
And that's what's nice is that it's not one of those. I mean, for this beer, so it's a Czech dark. So in this case, we used 100% Saaz. It was Saaz in the boil at the beginning for bittering, and then at the end, and everywhere in between. And we end up using a lot of it for the bittering, just because the bittering potential of Czech Saaz is so low that you have to use that much more just to get it back up again. And so it's like that balancing act between, you know, you're drinking this like dark malty beer, you want that body, but at the same time, you don't want it to be cloying, so you try to cut through it with that bitterness.
Yeah.
That roast sometimes helps as well. What I like to do is, I like to try to use, I hope I'm not giving away secrets here, instead of using roast malt, I'll try to use regular chocolate malt. That's like sometimes as far as I'll go along that spectrum.
Yeah.
So you still get some of those roasty notes, but you get more of that, you know, chocolate fullness.
Yeah.
And then if you're really looking for chocolate, you actually have to go down to like pale chocolate. That's what gives you actual chocolate flavor. Chocolate malt can give you kind of like these coffee notes to it that can come across as roasty.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think with the bitterness that's present and that little hint of roast on the back end, I think it does well to complement the beer. But I mean, hey, this is going to go through several iterations. I'm just going to figure out what I like, what the customers like, and that's what we'll land on.
Customers like this.
Yeah.
So these customers, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about doing these like Czech and European lagers is that, you know, we're going to have a Czech dark on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's going to taste the way it does all the time, consistently. But that's not to say we're not going to have a Dunkel. We're going to have a Schwarzbier, a Black Pilsner, which are 2 different things. And so you can get all those flavors that you're looking for.
Just because you said Schwartz, I want to know, can we have like a Spaceballs? And may the Schwartz be with you party?
That's not a bad idea for May 4th.
Release it. Yeah.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yeah.
That's
like
what I
that.
do.
Best
I
costume.
do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. Lisa's
like
always
that.
They're free. They're free.
But that's like some of the freedom that I think is nice that we're allowed to have is that we're not going to be like, oh man, we can only brew one dark beer. That dark beer has to encompass every flavor that we want. So it has to be malty. Yeah. It has to not be too malty. It has to have roast, but not too much roast. It has to be bitter, but not too bitter.
With a little bit of chocolate.
Exactly, yeah. We can have 3 dark beers, 3 dark lagers, and they can all be true to style in their own ways. Yeah. And people can work their way through each one and have a different experience across all those beers.
Dark lager flight. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope I don't get any flack for this. We're not going to do flights either.
That's fine.
That's
That's
fine.
fine.
That's fine too.
That's fine.
So that's the other thing is that,
Will there be half pours?
yes.
Okay.
So we'll do
Uh,
it
That's
more
so
half
for a
course.
fact.
So yeah.
So that was the thing is that also, Kyle and I, we do a lot of traveling, and whenever we do, half the points of why we're traveling is to drink our way through wherever we're visiting.
Yeah.
And
I
a
like
lot
it.
of the breweries we visit, the ones that we love, they're not doing flights, or if they're doing flights, we're not getting them because
Right.
that's not the way you taste beer.
Right.
You're getting
True.
it's like
Yeah.
eating at like the most beautiful steakhouse ever, and then they're giving you a little cube of steak. And going, all right, you're eating
That's
based
it.
on
Yeah,
that."
yeah.
That's the fillet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sirloin. Like,
How'd you go from fillet to sirloin?
That's not a
You
bad
skipped
idea,
a few in
actually.
there.
That's
No,
actually pretty nice.
no, okay. Filet, ribeye, porterhouse, tomahawk,
Yeah.
How about steak sushi night?
steaks. Now we're going sushi.
Steak sushi. Make
Yeah.
it steak sushi,
Okay.
and we can maybe have a rice beer.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a rice beer.
Just kind of throwing that in there.
Yeah. I would hope so.
I would hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Inquiring
so
minds. What does the artwork mean?
oh yeah, so I'll give you guys some stickers too, just so you have you can see the artwork and everything. But so Dead Language DLBP. What we're going for, at least our
Gotcha,
artist, who
gotcha.
I've known him since I was in kindergarten. He grew up in my neighborhood in New York. He's now just this amazing designer, doing these like amazing things in the design world. And I've worked with him in the past, and then when we were doing this, I was just kind of like, look, this is what we're going for with Dead Language. This is
Yeah.
what it means to us. Just kind of go for it. Whatever you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
is
yeah.
good is good. And he gave us a few different options. And we really liked one. He goes, good. I was hoping you were going to pick that because that's what I want. And
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
Another good, quick
Why was
conversation.
Yeah.
I like it.
kind of fall in line for you?
I mean, honestly, that's the way it works, right? You want the people who are experts in what they're doing, you kind of get out of the way and you let them do whatever the fuck they're doing.
Right.
True.
So,
right.
as far as I'm concerned, he's the master of all design. So far be it from me to interfere with that. If I can tell him, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and then have him convey that in his way,
Yeah.
I'll get out of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Man, I wish it went that way with our.
Oh,
Brewheads
without
label.
logo? Yeah. Yeah, it did not go that
Dominican
way.
Republic.
Yeah.
The Republic of the Dominica.
Uh-huh.
What's cool about this, though, is that so you'll see the letters. It's kind of hard to tell on this dark beer, but
That's why I drank it, so I could say.
There's a method to everything you do. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
There's so
Yes.
it goes in several different ways, and you can see that, like, obviously, or not so obviously, those represent actual letters. So
Right.
D, L, B,
Yep.
P. However, when you look at our cans, and we're going to be showing that can art pretty soon, we're getting it developed right now. You'll just see on the can itself just one symbol, and a lot of people might not even think anything of it.
Yeah.
And they might just look at that and go, "Oh, okay, that's cool. I like that beer, or I wonder what that is." The thing, and actually, we're going to reveal this probably later down the line, but I'm doing it now, so whoever's listening right now will know.
You heard it
to an
first.
extent. That one symbol is actually comprised of a bunch of smaller symbols that speak to what the beer is. So I don't know if you guys watched Futurama at all, but there was
Yeah.
like this secret language in the show that people kind of found out later on. Oh, this is a real language that you can decipher, and then they went back and were able to kind of like pick it apart and go, "Oh, this is what it meant, or that's what it meant."
Okay.
That's what we're doing here, and that if you look at that symbol across different styles, you can kind of piece it together and understand what we're trying to say about that beer by looking at that symbol.
Oh. I like that.
It's like Easter eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
deep.
That's some deep marketing.
I feel like I need a decoder ring.
Yeah.
Little orphan Annie decoder ring.
And I'll say our designer, John, he was so excited about it. And he's also a fellow Futurama fan. He was just like, I can't wait to do this. Like, you could tell them what it means, or don't tell them I don't care. Just, it's going to be the coolest thing once you discover what it is. And he's been spending so much time trying to develop this design language for each of these characters. And it's just the coolest thing to watch develop.
So what I really like about breweries is getting to know the stories behind the breweries and the people behind the breweries.
Yep.
Because I really think that brings out a lot of the flavor and characters as well. So today, learning more about all these like little tricks and mind games, the fuckery you have is exciting. Like, you know, the hidden objects and, you know, with true flavorful, down to the roots beer.
And that's the thing,
Yep.
right? It's, in a way, it's kind of poetry because you can look at the beer itself and go, yeah, we're not throwing cheesecake in it. We're not doing, you know, 500 pounds of lactose, but there's nuance and subtlety in the beers. And if you just drink the beers and focus on just enjoying the beer itself and not doing a taster of it, but just sitting there with a half pint,
Yeah.
half liter or a full liter, you can actually begin to appreciate those flavors and understand what the beer is trying to be, as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm drinking a dark beer. Like, no, why do you like it? What is it about this dark beer that's speaking to you? So I did speak about full liters just now. That is something that we're going to be offering too, which I'm very happy to say. We haven't fully fleshed it out yet, but as part of our mug club, what we're thinking is that instead of doing a typical mug club where, oh, you get your glass and this is your glass, you know, what have you, we have full-on 1 liter steins, and it is going to be something. I can tell I have your attention now. It's going to be one of those
Damn
things
right.
where if you join our mug club, you will have exclusive access to drinking a 1 liter stein. So it's going to be one of those appeal things. It's going to be one of those things
I
where...
want one. Where do I sign?
So you get to walk through when there's a crowd and a lot of people drinking beer, just like nice glass, bitches.
You're going to have that
Look
big
at this.
stein energy.
Look at this.
Yeah.
The BSE.
Well, we kind of started it in the beginning to be one of those things where it's like, yeah, we definitely want to offer signs. That's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Is to, when you're ready to sit down and drink, which all of our beers are under 6% for the most part.
Yeah.
When you're ready to sit down and drink and have a session, I want to be drinking a lot of beer, and I want it to be low alcohol.
Yeah.
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 So with a liter, we can accomplish that. However, we also didn't want to turn into a shit show in the beginning without knowing where things were
Right.
going to go.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, how can we do this responsibly, at least in the beginning?
Yeah.
And we figured, okay, well, if we can limit it to like Mug Club members,
Yeah.
they'll have exclusive access to those 1 liter steins. And then we can actually know who's drinking them.
Yeah.
And we can kind of observe and then maybe open
See
it up a
how
little bit more from
see how
there.
it's going.
Right.
Yeah, but honestly, I kind of like the idea that those people who are giving us loyalty in the beginning are going to be, yeah, I could drink a liter of beer if I want to, and that's it. That's my thing.
And where do I sign for?
Yeah.
We will be. There's a lot of things. So we're hoping to get our permit like any day now to open up, and we'll have a few soft launches. But leading up to that, it's like kind of mind-boggling the things we're realizing we have to get in order. All of a sudden, it went from like we got to get the beer perfect, we have to get the tap room where we want it, to oh shit, we need a website, we need the Mug Club details, we need like all this stuff. Mug Club details are being fleshed out. We're almost there. We'll be releasing that soon on social media. So if people want to sign up, they can. And we'll be opening it up. But I can tell you right now the amount of steins that I ordered, and I ordered more than we did originally. Originally, we only ordered 40 steins.
Mm-hmm.
When we were originally going to have this be like, hey, if you want a stein, you can get it.
Yeah.
And we'll sell some on the side. To the point where I ordered, a bit more than that because we knew we were going to do this Mug Club of sorts. Yeah, and we want people to be, hey, if you're a Mug member and you come in here, you have a stein and that's it.
Yeah.
So it is, right now, that number is going to be limited to the amount of steins that we have. And I can say it's not going to be any less, it's not going to be any more than 100. I'll say that much.
Okay.
So we have hope.
We got 100 BSEs floating around there.
But I also think by doing that,
Unite.
by opening up to steins, it's like you're kind of showing that, oh man, you can get a stein of beer, and it's, yeah, we're doing that because we promote responsible drinking culture, and we're not giving you a 9% Bach and a stein. Like, you can drink a 4.5% Helles. You can drink a Japanese rice lager and a stein. Drink that and feel totally fine after.
Yeah.
Like, you're totally cool to walk around or do whatever you want.
Not a 15% barrel aged stuff.
Exactly. I can say pretty confidently I think big alcohol beers have their own place. Like big alcohol is great, but I can safely say we're probably going to keep it to, big box, doppelbox, Baltic porters, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And we may dabble in barrel aging a little bit. I prefer
dabble.
stainless steel.
Dabble in college.
But those will have their
Those
own
are
place. Those will have their own glasses. We're not going to be irresponsible with it. But I think having high alcohol beers has its place, and I would much rather see people drinking a lot of beers for hours and enjoying themselves than having one beer being off their ass and then having to leave
It's
here.
not the dead language. That's my love language.
Yeah.
A lot of beer. What?
Beer is
putting
my
that on
love
a shirt.
language. Oh.
But yeah, I think more than anything else, we just want to promote this awesome beer culture.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring that beer culture to Connecticut and go further along with our allies in, Schilling and Sicker Profane and Notch and all the breweries that I learned that's what I want to be doing by drinking their beer. Promote this awesome drinking culture in America and going hands in hand with them to do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Because that's what I can compare you to. I mean, I already said it before we were
Yeah.
filming, but, Schilling is one of the, and I know there's some closer, but Schilling is kind of like the standard for me for authentic style beers.
Yeah.
And they do amazing things. And then they've had like that, a brewer that kind of works with them that started doing a little more American style stuff just to keep people coming in.
Uh-huh.
But that authenticity is, and you're bringing that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something to be appreciated in that because, can you get lagers anywhere? Of course you can.
Mm-hmm.
But, to be able to go to a brewery in America and have something that's at least very closely brewed to the same standards that they do in Europe or the Czech Republic is such an awesome experience. And we want to create a place where people in Connecticut can come and be like, holy shit, I can have this experience I can't have anywhere else.
Right.
I would say, that being said, you go to East Rock, they're making killer German beers.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. And then even places like Fox Farm Counterweight are doing lagers that are just out of this world.
Yeah.
But I think more so we want to just really put all of our eggs in that basket and make like a modern day beer hall, a lager house.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like the sound of this a lot.
Yeah.
Is this me or is this one of the beers? Because you know how when we drink beers now, you're trying to pick things out.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste like 8. This is a dangerous beer. Oh, I can taste the citrus in this. Or, oh, what is that? What kind of hop is this? What do they use? Is this milk sugar? Is this nitro? Like, we're always picking out. I didn't try to pick a damn thing out of this.
No.
I just wanted to drink it.
Yeah.
Because-
I was just drinking it. It's like,
Because it's beer.
Right.
It is just beer.
Yeah.
Right.
And I say this all the time. Dennis Leary did that, skit way back when about, coffee flavored coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And this is beer flavored beer.
Yeah,
You don't
no, it
have
really
to try
is.
and pick out because you're so excited because it's just fucking delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to pick out the different
Nope.
things. It's beer.
Like, you were talking
It's
about the beer, and
good beer.
I didn't give a rat's ass. Like, I don't care. I don't care. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good
This
fucking
is
beer.
good.
Good
Yeah.
beer.
This beer don't suck.
Hold on. It don't suck.
My God.
That's one of my highest ratings.
Yes.
by the way.
Yes. That's
for the record.
That's a 5.
Yeah.
Well, I am honored.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
honored.
no.
My God.
It is good.
Thank you.
Really good.
You are the hero we needed.
You guys are the first critical review I've had. I've even gone to my wife and she just had the beer for the first time last night, and I was like, all right, like you've had it out of the side pour, like you got the perfect pour. What do you think? She goes, oh, it's great. I go, okay, but like
More details,
what was
please.
wrong with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was
No,
great.
it was
Okay,
great.
but like if you could change a thing, what would it be?
No.
And it was just like
Yeah. No.
because
Yeah.
But I
you're
do
always
have
worried
to
that people are
agree
blowing
with her
smoke.
that
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing on this. This is, and I know you said something about the roast finish, but it's nice. It's a
it is
clean.
nice.
It's not
Yeah.
a bitter roast finish.
It's not an
It is-
adjuncty,
No,
fake.
like you can tell this is authentic. Like
Yeah.
there's not artificial stuff in here. This
Yeah.
is completely a clean, beautiful beer.
Yeah.
Thank you. That really means a lot. And that's all we're trying to go for. Like
I say that to
know-
all the brewers.
Yeah. No, we would tell you. We'd be
No,
like,
I
well,
am probably one of the most brutally honest people.
Yes.
Yep.
Still getting-
we do tend to sugarcoat some stuff, but yeah, you're brutally honest.
I'm brutally honest.
Gut
Yeah.
punch.
If
Just straight
it's
gut
not
punch.
good, right. I think I'm the more average beer drinker. Like you guys, I think, decipher things more and get into the technical
True.
stuff more.
More into like maybe it's not great, but we knew what the person brewing it was going for.
Yeah.
So that plays into our. Well, I didn't really like this part. Well, that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Was this part in there? Like, oh, okay. Well, then it's
what you
good
want.
because
Yeah.
they did that.
Yeah, it's what
They-
you wanted.
Yeah.
Where I'm more of a let's go into the beer hall, let's throw a few back, maybe a few more. I
Yeah,
don't.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We do bring the shenanigans and debauchery.
Yes, shenanigans and debauchery is what we do. But this is honestly a very clean, crisp beer, and I don't want you to take the roast off the back.
Okay, that will go into consideration.
Okay.
Consider
Yeah, please.
From
please
3,
keep it
4,
in
and 5.
Yeah.
from 3, 4, and 5.
Please consider that the roastiness of it is very delicious.
Or
Nice.
if you're going to take the roast off, just remember that that roast is a nice flavor. It complements
Yeah.
really well. Because also, can I just say that it tastes like your water is like super filtered. Like this is so clean drinking.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it doesn't really taste like Connecticut water.
That's one of the things where, so I was very concerned about knowing I wanted to open up this lager brewery and going, well, okay, the beers I want to emulate are from, let's say, Pilsen, and Pilsen literally has like, there's nothing in the water.
Yeah.
When we went there, it's funny, we went to Prague, and then going to Pilsen was maybe like a short hour and a half train ride from there. And we go to Pilsner Urquell, it was fucking glorious. And then we're trying to catch a train back, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't drink the water here.
Yeah.
We stopped, we borderline missed our train, so we could pop into this little hole in the wall little pub. Nobody spoke English, not that they should.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was literally trying to convey, like, I need water.
Yeah.
I forgot what the Czech Republic, the Czech word for water is, but
It's not agua.
this woman looked like she never had anybody ask her for water.
Yeah.
She never served anybody anything that wasn't beer,
Beer.
Yeah.
in her life. And she goes, bottled water? I go, no, I want tap water. She looked at me, I was crazy. We got a beer as well.
Yeah.
And you drink that water, and I'm like, my God, there's just nothing in it.
Yeah.
No chlorine, no fluoride, no
Yeah.
Zero.
chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the memories I'll have. Like all the amazing beer, all the amazing like cool pubs, everything in the Czech Republic. I will remember that water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was just one of those awesome experiences. But that being said, so bringing it back to America now, New York has some of the best water ever. And that's why people rave about, oh, New York pizza, New York bagels, like all that.
It's the
It's
water.
the water.
It's the water. The same reason why New Haven, being on the same kind of like aqueduct,
Yep.
has the best pizza in the world.
Yeah.
And as someone coming from New York, New Haven has the best pizza. You can fight me.
I co-sign that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has the best pizza. So I was kind of worried, like, oh, fuck, if I'm not going to be in New Haven, how am I going to have this awesome water?
Yeah.
And then when I came here and I was talking to Ben, I go, I want to take some water samples. I want to send them out to see like what I have to work with and what I'm going to have to do to kind of like get the baseline I'm looking for. And he goes, okay, yeah, feel free, go ahead.
Yeah.
But just to let you know, this is the water report I got. Okay. And I'm looking at it and I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. There's nothing in this water. It's like,
No shit.
it's not Pilsen clean,
Yeah.
but there is like nothing in it.
Oh
Beautiful.
wow.
Yeah. And he said they actually share an aqueduct, I think, with New Hartford, which is also incredibly clean
Oh,
water.
okay.
Great water. Legitimus up there making
Yep.
amazing beers as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
And it is just so crisp, so clean, that when I made our Pilsner, I said, you know what? I'm not even going to add anything to it. Normally I
Yeah.
try to, add some calcium chloride to bring up like the maltiness, or
Yeah,
like try
yeah.
to play around with it a little bit. That Pilsner, I just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to treat this like it's Pilsen,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to add a damn thing to it. And it is gorgeous.
No
Well,
shit.
It
Get
is
me
so
excited.
nice.
Yeah.
So I feel incredibly blessed that we
Yeah.
came across this, and Ben was looking to give this space up at the right time, and
Yeah.
it was great.
I'm surprised that the water is like. I lived in Harvard for a very long time.
Yeah.
Did not expect the water to be clean.
And like everybody says, it's funny. Like when I was brewing in New Britain, everyone's like, New Britain water's the best, and it's the best. And I'm like, I had it, and I was making beer there, and I'm like, it's good. And then you have this, and you're like, I'm sorry, Hartford is
Yeah.
unstoppable in the
Yeah.
water department.
But man, you can't beat that water in Hartford. Like,
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
says
Who
that?
says that?
You know, you said earlier about I just got reminded. You were saying like, oh yeah, some people like you just drink beer. You're not even trying to look for the flavors. You're just like, this tastes good. I just want to drink it.
Yep.
And I think that was one of the biggest things that shocked me. It was almost like it was kind of like almost disheartening, but going to Prague and then going to these little pubs that were serving this like amazing, amazing beer.
Yeah.
And you're like, clearly they understand the nuances and like they truly value what they're drinking. And they're just like,
Chugging it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, what the fuck? They're just like, they'll go for like a session after work and then before dinner just to meet up with some friends and like,
Yeah.
oh my, the food is a whole other thing. But they'll sit there just to eat and drink before they actually go to dinner. And it's not uncommon to drink like 5 half-liters
Right.
and just kill
Yeah.
them and then like go off and go do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, I think they go so far as and like your average beer drinker, they appreciate what they're drinking. They know whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And I assume they have the confidence to know that what they're drinking is like the best beer in the world.
Right.
But I think with all that out of the way, they can just focus on the people they're with, what they're doing, and just having a good time and enjoying themselves.
I think that's important. And I think that's kind of what breweries need to get back to is that originality of the old school.
Yeah.
Are you shivering?
Oh no, I think the
Okay.
beer's kicking in.
I'm like, it's not that cold. Someone get him a blanket.
No, you were saying going back to the old school and
Old school, the kind of community aspect of European style where, one of the things that we Americans don't do well is appreciate the traditions of the old school ways with those, like whether it's a siesta, whether it's going, to the beer hall after and getting together. And we kind of tend to just do it, we go big or go home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that go big or go home mentality kind of, takes away from the fun and community and down to earthness of it. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a place where it's beer flavored beer that
Yeah.
doesn't suck.
Yep.
And just really a chill atmosphere, not, super goofy, trendy,
yeah.
wonky.
Right.
And that's the other thing. Like, granted, we're going to have like some brewery-ish things in here, but we didn't want to have like I was saying before, we didn't want to have like your typical brewery experience. We didn't want this place to be broed out.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
didn't want it to be like all steel and wood
Yep.
and iron, and we just wanted this comfortable, cool, funky place. We're going to be playing weird horror B-movie trauma stuff in our projector. Just make this place as weird as we possibly fucking can.
Yeah. We're here
Just
for
fun.
it.
Yeah.
You say B horror movies. Why don't we throw a Rocky Horror Picture Show movie?
So we're already I would love to do that. 110%. I would love to do that. I'm totally in. And I know several of our friends who would absolutely love that. We would love. We haven't said anything yet, but we would love to try to find a way to host a Lebowski Fest here.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dude.
Do that. I don't know if you're familiar with like trauma movies, like Toxic Avenger.
Oh,
that kind
yeah.
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're redoing it.
I know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid. It's like, can you really redo the Toxic Avenger? Come on.
So that was one of the things. Like, so this whole brewery is a culmination of our experience, right? So Kyle used to live in Alphabet City, so Lower East Side of New York, Manhattan, and I was living in Queens, and I would go to visit her when we were first dating, and she would take me to these like really cool places, and there was this place called the Library, and you'd hang out there, and you would just look up, and they had projectors kind of flashing everywhere, and they would just show trauma movies. So it was like Toxic Avenger and like all that stuff. And you're like, and you're getting drunk and you're watching this and like, this is the weirdest shit ever. Yeah.
It's like,
And you love it.
Yeah.
So
it's like, this movie's so bad. Why is it so good? It's
Yeah.
so bad.
that brewery in Maryland, not the crab one. But the cult classic.
Yeah.
They brewery and a supermarket. They took over a supermarket, which was
Seriously?
fun. Yep, took over a supermarket. So the place was pretty friggin' big.
That's awesome.
But they're outside. They had like all the cult movies. So they had like the 50-foot woman. They had Jaws and like just all these kind of
What's the
funky
name of this place?
Cult classic brewery.
That sounds awesome.
It was a great place. It kind of was the redemption of the entire trip for me. Thank God we happened to just find them.
Got shot down at your what you thought was going to be the pinnacle of
Oh
it.
my God. I thought I was going home.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be my
Your crabby.
my crabby place, but no. But this place was wild. But they had like all the movies playing the projector in the background of all like their, cult classic movies. So
That's cool.
They had the Revenge of the 50-Foot Woman on the day we were there, which I was like, but like, King Kong or not King Kong,
Godzilla.
Mighty Joe.
Gojira.
Jones.
How did I confuse the two? I don't know. Well, sometimes I'm stupid.
Hey,
I'll have more beer now.
it's okay. Yeah. I'll drink till I'm smart.
I get smarter.
But yeah, between like, we just want to keep it like fun and funky. And so we're going to show like cool movies, the lighting, which you can't really tell in the daylight, but we have this place top to bottom, left to right, and everywhere in Govee. So there's just lights everywhere.
Yeah.
At night, this place is transformed. And then even in we call it the gear room on that
Yep.
side. I don't know if you noticed when you came in, but against the wall, Kyle collected these posters of this San Francisco blacklight artist.
Oh.
So there's just these blacklight posters back there from the 70s.
Wow.
kidding.
And we're going to put like a blacklight back there at night
Yeah.
and just like,
It'll show the art.
Yeah.
That's cool.
so shit like that.
Sounds
like that.
awesome.
In here, you know what? It's funny because it kind of reminds me of Bad Dreams.
Oh, yeah. Like the
Did you ever go to Bad
furniture.
Dreams?
and stuff.
No, never.
So
Okay.
it was like if a library had a brewery.
Library.
Library. If a library
It's
had
like Hartford Water.
if a library had a brewery, that was kind of like the aesthetic. It was like, books. and
Comfy
things.
chairs.
Comfy chairs.
Really?
Shelves.
Yeah, shelves. Yeah,
Like,
it was.
like 3 cubby high shelves with books in them. And
That's cool.
Oh, it was so nice.
yeah, it was
R.I.P.
nice. Yeah. That was,
Where was
they closed
that?
down?
yeah. That was in Newhart?
No, Milford.
New Milford.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Milford.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
out of my territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, they COVID took them.
Yeah. They were one of the first ones to
Succumb.
actually, second one to succumb to
Yeah, first was
hanging.
Hanging Hills.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
COVID.
that's the unfortunate thing is like so many places like they got hit with COVID and like everything else that's going on. And then you kind of get the shakeout and it's going to be a completely different landscape going
Oh,
forward.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, for them, they were not designed for COVID. That
Yeah,
place,
ever.
yeah, they were. That place was an always like you go in to drink. They didn't even really have any distro. They did crowlers.
They had no cans.
no, yeah.
They
So
had, their beer was not in any restaurants.
yeah, so their
It
whole
was-
their whole business model was you go to the brewery.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit and it's like, okay, you're not allowed to go to the brewery anymore. How do I get there? And they just, they weren't set up.
Yeah, you
they,
can't do
they
that.
weren't set up to change really quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why we're going for that same kind of model where everything's like taproom centric is what we say. Like everything, we want like 90% of everything to come out of the tap room.
Right.
But that being said, we have like a nice canning line. I say nice, I got used, but it's
It's
a
nice.
record
Hey,
manufacturer.
you know
I'm
what?
happy.
You know what? If you have a canning line,
New.
it's nice.
So we can crank out. So it's kind of weird because I'm talking about not doing volume, but like the canning line I got is the biggest canning line I've ever worked on.
Mm.
So it could crank out some volume.
Yeah.
And I got it just in the event that like, oh, down the line, I don't want to get another one.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I could just grow into this.
Yeah.
That being said, it's like I'm thrilled we're living in a post-COVID world, but at the same time, God forbid, because I had to operate in the same kind of condition. God forbid that happens again. We can quickly pivot and do what we need to do to survive here.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody kind of learned. After everyone that survived after was like, okay, you got to be able to make a quick hard right at any moment.
That was very, very, very tough. That was a huge wake-up call to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't have to go through that for another 20 years or so.
Yeah.
I'm good with 20.
I was hoping 100. I don't want to be around for another one of those.
I don't think we'll see that. Yeah. The world is changing too much, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Different podcast. Definitely over some more beers. A few more beers in, we'll talk about the environment and the world. Not today.
So,
today we're celebrating.
Yeah, we are. So what are your hopes for, say, 5 years from now? Just doing the same thing, but just...
So we have ideas. Okay. I'm not going to be the type to say like, oh yeah, we're going to expand whatever. I think everything we're looking to do within those 5 years in terms of like expansion projects are all from within.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're already looking at, I don't want to divulge too much, but I'm just going to go ahead and just divulge too much. Within those 5 years, we already have plans of doing a tea house.
Ooh.
So the goal of this place is to, we see a lot of breweries doing coffee, and that's very cool. And, the crux of it is every brewery is trying to expand and try to do things to kind of diversify and get different money streams. Yeah. So, again, to bring it back to the Czech Republic, we went to Prague, and we went to this awesome space. And if you were here and you went there, you would kind of see the parallels because we got such inspiration from it. Big warehouse, everything's painted white, green everywhere, just plants everywhere hanging. Not a brewery, it was just kind of like this, I don't even know what you would call it. It was like a pub / workspace.
Yeah.
They had a little cocktail bar, a beer stand, a little concession area where you can get like sandwiches, stuff like that. But you look around and you could tell it was a warehouse, but you could rent out rooms and you could like kind of hold your little office there. You could have meetings. You could work on your laptop. And if you want to drink, you can drink.
Yeah.
If you want to just like sip on tea or drink coffee, you could do that.
Yeah.
And then kind of ride your way until 4 o'clock when you could just start pounding beers. But we went there and we were like, wow, this is the coolest place ever. We have this dream, I think. If we're going to be expanding, we kind of want to expand from within. So we're going to be open from 4 o'clock to 9 or 10 on the weekdays. But if we in the next year or so can get to the point where, hey, we can actually open up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And this is one of those places where you can come, bring your laptop, get a nice cup of tea. We'll have a bunch of teas that are grown locally or sourced locally, what have you. And you can actually just sit here and enjoy yourself, work, and then transition into drinking after.
All in one building.
That
is awesome.
And right above us, there are levels upon levels of apartments. Right. So we want this to be a place where everybody above us can come down here, work, hang out, walk the dog, come back, drink.
Yeah.
And this is your one-stop shop for everything.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
And then we have further plans down the line, without saying too much, that we would love, and this is kind of like a reach, but it's something that we can definitely attain. We would love to turn part of the area into a tiki bar. Kind of sticking to how we want to keep everything retro here.
Yeah.
We want to execute that so that we can keep everything dark. We can keep everything retro.
Yeah.
And if we're going to do drinks, it's going to be the drinks that we want to drink.
Yeah.
We're big rum fans.
I'm a big tiki bar fan.
So we just want to keep that alive and keep everything within our brands of retro and, interesting.
I like it. Will there be yacht rock by the tiki bar? Some Buffett playing?
Oh, there you go.
We haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
But we're going to have some fun with it.
All right. Well, I have portable tiki bar if you want to
Oh, nice.
take it out for a whirl and
A little spin.
see how many people pop by.
You have a tiki bar? I brought my own.
Assembly
Goes with me.
required.
Yeah, here we go.
Assembly required.
I have a friend who got me into this is when I was in transition between breweries. He kind of became like a mixologist, and he introduced me to the world of rum that I never even like knew was really a thing, that you could even like sip on rum.
Mhm.
And then he got me into all the different cocktails you could make with it.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's mind blowing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And that just like put me down this rabbit hole.
Listen, you make a good rum punch, and I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here for the rum punch. I'm here for the beer. Doesn't sound like you're getting rid of me anytime soon,
No,
buddy. I'm
no.
sorry.
So essentially, you know, it's like we want to do so like everything kind of aligns with our beliefs, right? So it's like we're going to open up a bar. It's not going to be any bar. It's going to be a tiki bar. We're going to do something that you could do during the day. It's not going to be coffee. It's going to be tea.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to kind of like think outside the box a little bit, but keep everything.
Those
you know.
B-sides.
Yeah.
Like to bring it back to the movies. Like if you
Exactly.
don't drink coffee, which is the A game, you drink tea, which is the B game.
Yeah, go where everybody else isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you right
I
now,
dig
you
it.
open up a tea bar, and my wife will be here. All
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It'll be
You say tea or tiki?
tea.
Oh, all right. 'Cause
I'm
I think,
here for the
yeah,
tiki.
you're
Yeah,
the tiki.
both. She'll
Okay.
be here
for
for
the
the tea. Yeah.
We're going to try to do so for food. You know, a lot of breweries are expanding with their food options,
Yeah.
which is a great thing because everyone's just trying to figure out how to keep people planted and
Yeah.
not, you know, moving all over the place. Well, we're going to have, this is great, Petrol Head Cafe, which is a barbecue joint, is going to be opening up right here next door.
Oh.
So where
oh,
that
shit.
wall is, on the opposite side of that wall,
Yeah.
is going to be a barbecue joint.
Nice.
I have to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
There's beer,
Yep.
there's barbecue.
Yeah.
Someday, hopefully, maybe a tiki bar.
Yeah.
And tea.
And tea.
Sticking to me though.
Oh, all right. All right. All right. Sorry. You are number one. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's about me. It's
I know.
always about me. It doesn't sound like I'm going anywhere.
No.
Oh, and don't forget, we got Parkville Market across the street.
Yeah.
So like amazing, amazing Hispanic market where like I'd say more than half the place is like Hispanic food,
Mhm.
and it is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff you can get there,
Oh yeah.
and in the same
Mofongo,
parking
baby.
lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mofongo is great.
Yeah.
There's an El Salvador place I
Mhm.
love. It's so great.
Yeah.
And there's going to be well, there actually is right now a cannabis dispensary right in there. So
Oh,
like
I did not
Oh,
know
you don't
no
have
that.
to
kidding.
leave. Everything is right
Yeah.
here.
Oh, fuck me.
Hold on. My turn. Okay. Now it's all about me.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is going to be like you can park your car and spend all day here and not have to leave.
That's dream.
That sounds like.
Man, I am doing some
I wonder
thinking.
how the bus route runs.
Yeah.
Maybe the trains like
Yeah.
Well, we got fast track.
Yeah, the
is a
fast
block
track's
away.
right. Yeah, fast track's right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fast track's a block away. We're in Hartford, so there's
Yeah.
buses running up and
Oh,
down
yeah.
all over the place.
So are you the only brewery in Hartford right now?
You know, I was
Well,
thinking
City
about that the other
Steam.
day. Yeah, you have City Steam.
City Steam.
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh, and
Uh,
then no, I mean they don't brew in
'Cause
Hartford. Though.
Phantom's gone.
Phantom's gone.
Hanging Hills is gone.
Thomas
Hog
Hooker
River.
has the Colt building, but they don't brew
They don't
there.
brew. Yeah, I don't think they brew there. They brew in the Bloomfield.
Bloomfield.
Okay. Yeah, I can say this much. We're one of the few breweries. I know Hog River is still a Hartford brand, but yeah, it went from I felt like we were like going to move in. We're like, yeah, it's going to be like an awesome like Hartford market, and then we're like, oh shit, we're the only ones here.
Yeah.
It seems crazy.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, we were talking about like the at Hanging Hills when Joe would talk about getting like a bus to run between all the Hartford breweries.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long ago, and now it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Where'd they
big
go?
shift.
All gone.
Yeah.
Where'd they
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Market
But you know what?
shift.
Now you have Urban Lodge on Pratt Street.
Oh,
right
yeah.
Oh
next to
yeah,
the
yeah,
Soul
yeah,
Center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It is nice.
Aren't they in Manchester? Or is this a second
Well,
spot?
they're in Manchester. They
And
have
I'll
a
say
tap
the
room.
food
Tap
don't
room.
suck.
Yeah, they have a tap room over there
Wow.
now.
You said the
And
food
it's,
don't suck?
It's
The
tap
food
and
does not
bar
suck.
because
Okay.
they do like mixed drinks
Do you ever
there
have
too, right?
pastrami on roll?
Okay, see, I don't even know. They
Oh.
were kind enough to host a guild meeting.
Yeah.
Corey Rye.
like a week or
Who
two ago.
is
Okay.
the cook
And
for,
they
Urban Lodge.
went out of their way to serve us like
Yeah.
beer, the food that they had prepared there. Amazing, so
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
so good.
I keep telling myself
Does
I need
Corey
to go over
work? Corey cooks in Hartford too.
Corey.
Rye, the chef.
Because he's the chef at the Manchester one, right?
Yeah.
See, that I'm not familiar.
He used to own, I don't know what he still owns and what he still doesn't, but he had ketchup and mustard. He had
Okay.
some steak house, steak and seafood place, pastrami on rye. He had a lot of different restaurants.
See, I'm not
He's
sure
like
what
a
he was
Manchester
doing.
food guy.
I remember all those restaurants.
Yeah.
And like they were awesome. But I never knew what he was doing now or what
So
was
he's
going on.
cooking. I know he manages or oversees Urban Lodge's Manchester, but I'm not sure if he oversees Hartford as well.
Yeah, there's definitely some exciting stuff happening in Hartford. For the longest time, we were like, we wanted to go into a place. The ideal scenario for us was that we would go into a city that was kind of like on its way back up, kind of like a mini Brooklyn, or coming from Queens, like something where there was going to be this like renaissance, this revival.
Yeah.
And in Hartford, a lot of people love to be like, oh, well, Hartford doesn't have this, and they're blah, blah, blah. If you like actually look for the things to do in Hartford, my God, there's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I heard Hartford has it.
Well done. Yep.
I mean, you look at where we are. I mean, so you got West Hartford right there.
Yeah.
That's very close.
Yep.
Then where we are in Parkville, there's everything we just mentioned. Parkville
Mhm.
Market, us, the barbecue joint, dispensary, like everything. Then you go like another block away. You have Little River Restoratives.
Yeah.
There's some like really cool coffee shops right there.
Yeah.
Awesome cocktail bar. And then just like right down the road, you have downtown. So if we can kind of like link all that together,
Yeah.
it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then tea and tiki and really good beer and
Rum punch.
weed and
Rum punch.
rum punch.
But yeah, that's the goal, is to see this place like within 5 years, not only us to grow, which is the goal, right?
Right, obviously. Yeah.
We want to see like all these businesses grow, and to kind of see how this morphs and transforms, where like we can all be linked together and all kind of like share in the experience, and just make this place like fucking amazing.
So one of my favorite things recently is trying to incorporate the booze with the beer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beer teenies.
So we've
Beer
done beer
teenies.
teenies. We had a little shot of tequila and some other
Lawson's
No.
party.
beach party. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just drinking a can yesterday, last night.
Yep.
So
Imagine
good.
that with a shot of tequila in there.
That would be nice.
Yep.
It was nice.
It was nice.
No, it was nice.
So
could see
thinking about that, because you have a friend who's a mixologist and all of that. So thinking about how you want to incorporate your rum in your brewery, how, like, can you think of a beer you'd make that you could throw like a splash of rum in that to just kind of like take it up a notch?
Well, I can tell you. So we're probably not going to be doing that here.
No,
insofar-
not here. It's you
Well,
guys.
I will say in general. So when I was at Alvarium and I was running the brewing program there,
You were up there?
I did. I was doing kind of like running the whole like program with like all the beers there, and coming up with like, you can kind of see the genesis of it. Tiki beers.
Yeah.
So there was like a
Hurricane,
scorpion
Scorpion
bowl,
Bowl. Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it was like trying to integrate those ideas into beer, not like mixing cocktails and beer,
Yep.
but kind of doing it in its own way. I have never played around with it otherwise. I think it's very interesting. I think there's like a lot of cool things to do with that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know,
I've
that
gotten
beach
them
party
onto
and tequila
something.
idea sounds pretty good.
It was really good.
Just a
Especially
little,
when it's the
little
first
splash,
one,
yeah.
first beer you review, it just
Yeah.
makes them all.
little splash of 1800.
We did the beer teeny too. It just happens. We've done it twice, and both were with Lawson's beer.
beers.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a new Lawson's beer, like I have my usual, I'll go to the package store and I just kind of like walk up and down the aisles. And whenever I see a new Lawson beer, I'll just be like, oh, what do we got here? And usually when I'm on an IPA fix, it's always Sea Hag, and then like, maybe a couple of other little things
Yeah.
here and there. And I saw a beach party. I'm like, oh, I think I heard about this. Let's see. okay, it's an IPA. That should be interesting.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the back. I'm like, 3.8%.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I'll take 8 of those.
I can have this.
Yeah.
I can do this whole thing tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish it was beach weather because I could just picture myself on the beach like slamming those.
Yeah.
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 It was so
Oh
good.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect blend between fuck dry January.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's the perfect blend of like having hop seltzer and then having an IPA.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
right in between.
Yeah.
So I have my own thoughts on like dry January and like the whole look, I get like moderation and like
Yeah.
nobody should be dependent on any one thing.
Mhm.
You should be able to say like, yeah, I don't need to drink alcohol. I could do it for a month. But honestly, if you're stopping for a month and you're just going to do it again, does it really prove anything?
Right.
That being said, if you're looking to reduce alcohol, looking for those low alcohol options
Yeah.
to drink during an off season or
Yeah.
just when you want to like cool things down
Yep.
a little bit, that's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
That 3.8 is
Oh,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
very
So
nice.
good. And with
mean,
the splash of tequila.
I was going to say, I don't
Oh
think.
my god.
If you're considering dry January or light January, I don't think the tequila adding should be. In
I
your
thought it
thoughts.
was. I
thought it
thought it
was
was fine.
What was the? Was it vanilla?
Yeah, it was
What, it
vanilla
was-
Smirnoff that we used for the
Yeah.
nitro.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
It was
Was it
espresso.
Oh,
Oh,
espresso. Yeah.
Were you saying nitro? Was it the nitro lozenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with the
That
nitro
beer
lo-
is so good.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
And with
good.
the shot of the
Espresso
espresso vodka. Ooh,
That
Yep.
sounds nice.
It was so good.
so good.
So
one
good.
one nip each, and it was
Yeah.
just like
I was the smart one to only do a half.
Uh-huh.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the whole.
I did
all
the
done.
half.
And then my face was so hot. Oh my god!
You can see in the video
Yeah.
we're like fanning ourselves. We're like,
Whew. Good thing we only have 4 more beers to do. Oh, God.
I was so happy to see that nitro stout because I mean, you know,
Yeah.
since everyone thinks IPAs, but
Ooh,
oh man, that's such a good.
It was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss it because like you're not seeing a lot of nitro stouts on the market anymore. Like you had Firefly, the Toadstool Stout,
Yeah.
loved it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now unfortunately
Right.
you don't see it.
No. Left Hand, I think, is the only one
That's decent too.
that always has a nitro stout.
Yep.
And that has the most peculiar. That has the
Peculiar.
oddest flavor. Like it's just so weird flavor of a nitro stout, but it's so good.
It has like that added sweetness to
Yeah.
it from the lactose. Yeah.
Oh my god! And pour hard, just like get that glass in there and just get all the way up. Stop
shake
it.
vigorously.
Yeah, roll the bottle.
There's something about it's like that presentation, and it's the same thing with like the Lucre pours, but like having a nitro stout and just seeing that nice, dense.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's you eat with your eyes, you drink with your eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing it like
Yeah, just watch
going
it.
up,
Yeah.
like I slow mo it every time I do it. Just like, look at that. I'm weird. I have a
Yes.
lot of
We know.
nitro pours on my phone. That no,
I won't tell you what's on my phone.
I won't. No. We'll jailbreak it. We'll find it.
That's something I would love to see more is like Connecticut
Her
breweries
phone?
getting into more. Yeah. I'll leave that on your drive home. You can explore that.
Or not.
See, more alcohol. I just quit.
And that was without the tequila.
I know.
Wow, damn. It's good
It's so
fucking
hot.
beer. It's good fucking beer.
I would just love to see like Connecticut breweries exploring more like of the esoteric styles, like the stuff that's, you know, nitro stouts. There's a gap there that needs to be filled that isn't Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just go
Yeah,
for
just
it,
go for
you
it,
know?
yeah.
It's there. It's waiting. The few times we did nitro stouts, we found that like the accounts around us that had a nitro tap were just like, yeah, sure. Send it in.
Yeah.
Nobody's on it right now, so
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Well,
So
what is a
roast
root beer?
So Rot is red in German. So it's a
Oh.
red lager. And it sounds like it would be very common,
Yeah.
but it isn't.
Actually, you know what? Now that you said that, I just realized, yeah, I've never had a red lager.
So we're friends with the guys over at like Lupoletto.
Yes.
And I was
James.
making
love James.
talking about amazing lagers.
Yeah.
He's killing
He's
it
good.
over
Yeah,
there.
he's
killing
good.
it.
That smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning like oh, we're going to be doing a root beer. And he's like, oh, yeah, we have a root beer on tap. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I don't even know of another brewery in America doing a root beer. I'll put it this way. Jack's Abbey has, I think it's Red Tape. They have a red lager. If I had to take a guess, I'd say it's probably a root beer. But you don't see a lot of like typical like German red lagers that aren't a Marzen or a Fest beer.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do with that. So that's almost ready. We have our Japanese rice lager, which I'm very, very happy with. Believe it or not, I'm actually trying to bump the alcohol up on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I was at Alvarium and I did Crunchyroll, that was around 4.2%, I think. This we're trying to make closer to 5%. Just because a lot of those beers you find closer to 5%.
Yeah.
And I want to make it a little bit different. And also I was like, can I actually increase the alcohol on this, but make it even drier?
Ooh.
Okay.
Can I find a way to do that? And I think I did.
Ooh.
So it's one of those beers where it's like, yeah, you're looking for Budweiser. We have this. It tastes better. And it has this like dry finish to it. You just want to keep
I
slamming
was going to
it.
say that makes you want more
Exactly.
Oh, the tricks.
while you're at the brewery.
Right, you're at the brewery. Tricks of the trade.
Well, we have the Czech Pilsner. There's of course, I have the Hefeweizen, the Weizen beer. That's going to be nice. Sugarleaf, our American IPA. And one of the beers I'm most excited about is our smoked lager. So we're going to have a dedicated draft line for smoked beers.
Oh.
And that's polarizing. I can tell you're not excited.
Why can everyone read my face so
Because
well?
your face is easy to read.
Please
The thing
continue.
is, it's no surprise because smoked beers, whenever I say, oh yeah, we have a Rausch beer, we have a smoked beer, or we have a Grodziskia, a Greitzer, people are like, oh. And I think a lot of people, when they hear smoked beer, what they expect is, oh, I'm going to be drinking this dark malty beer that tastes like liquid smoke. Typically. Or even my wife does not like Rausch beers, and she's like, tastes like an ashtray. But
Okay.
so with the Grodziskia, what we're trying to do is find this beer that straddles incredibly easy drinking and smoke. So I had done one when I was at Alvarium. I want to say it's a 3.8% beer. So we're back at Beach Party. It's a 3.8% beer, Grodziskia, with a few liberties taken because we didn't use 100% oak smoked wheat. We used some oak smoked wheat and beechwood smoked malt. It's made with lager yeast instead of like a clean fermenting ale strain. But it is low alcohol, crisp, clean.
Yeah.
And because we've let it lager for 2 months, it like those smoky flavors have melded together. And now you're drinking it and there's like this hint of like this nice oak smokiness that you get on the beginning. And then every sip afterwards, it just kind of like fades in the background. So I actually take pride in saying it's one of those beers where the person who hates smoked beers can come in, have it, and go, you know what? I think I like smoked beers.
Yeah, this doesn't suck.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's not that I dislike it. It's new. Like I said, I've always been a very big hop heavy. Give me those 8% and up. I love it all. The flavors, the craziness. But I'm over it. Like I can appreciate them still. Like I still like a lot of those flavors, but to sit down and throw back, 3-4 of those, it's rough.
Yeah.
Sit down, throw back 3-4 of these, not so bad.
It's a good night.
Lupoletto's has a smoked beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did order one of those. Like I ordered, but that's all I could do. I couldn't do 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah.
I
She could
could
just
only-
order it. That's all she did. She just ordered it, and then it was just like,
And I sat there and looked at it.
Brando.
It's so pretty. No,
I remember when James put that on
like
tap.
it.
I was in the area and I'm like, hey, I'm stopping by the brewery. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I have the Rausch beer on tap. And I had it. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty authentic too. To
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
his
James is
Italian
real-
roots and
yeah.
that
Yeah.
European.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
He
real
really
authentic,
sticks to it.
Yeah.
I
I like people with their convictions.
do. I do too. Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to taste. I do like
Tastes
it.
great.
Yeah. This
But with
is
this
amazing.
Scottiskia, like what's nice about it is that like it's one of those beers where first and foremost it's drinkability. We don't want to make it one of those like thick liquid smoke beers, and so you can just drink it and like pound it and not even realize it's a smoke beer after a while. It just drinks that smooth.
Yeah.
And that's how I used to feel about stouts. Is like it was always I always had that mindset that they were thick and creamy and filling and but Midnight Shade over here has gotten me off of that a little bit.
I am so. You tell me you don't like a style. No, we're just gonna find the beer that
Yeah.
you actually
We'll find the
enjoy
one you
in that
drink.
style.
Yeah.
You're gonna try every single one of them.
Yeah.
I think that's half the fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like you meet people, and this is like speaking differently, but like in general, people who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm not a big beer fan," and it's like, okay, you just haven't found the right beer.
Exactly.
We're just gonna like walk through.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what
figure
you
it out.
like. Yeah, and even if you do respond to something, you might not love it, but like let's work
Yeah.
on that and see where we go.
Exactly.
That's half the fun.
I love doing that to people.
I think
I
it's
love
fun.
it. Yeah.
I think it's fun just trying
I
new
brought the
beers.
Conti over to one of my friends because he drinks nothing but like Miller Lite.
Yes.
So I gave him some Conti, and
Yeah, really good.
he drank all of those. He's like, I actually like that. You might have converted me. And I was like,
Yep.
we're working on it.
It takes time, but we'll.
No, that's a damn good Kolsch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitive.
That was definitive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitive.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Kolsch Conti. Ooh, so good.
Kolsch is a great style.
Oh yeah, I love Kolsch's.
We're gonna try to work our way to that once we start like finding our groove with like the lagers and getting everything in there. We're gonna alternate between like having a Kolsch and an alt beer on like as often as we can. I love Kolsch. I think I love alt beer even more. That's like one of my
Yeah.
desert island beers. I could drink that nonstop.
Does ESB fall in lagers?
No,
Okay.
but it has like that similar. So like I always view alt beer as like I call it German brown because for me it has like the same qualities as a brown, somewhat, and like you get the maltiness. There's some nuttiness to it, some light fruit, but it's just clean. It drinks
Yeah.
like a lager, whereas an ESB might have some of those qualities, like it might have some caramel or nuttiness to it, but you usually get like some esters from the English yeast.
Yeah.
But yeah, alt beer is just all day. And we're definitely going to try something that we're borrowing from Notch. Notch has these, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They have, I think they were one of the first breweries to do Kolsch services and now alt beer services. So I saw that they were doing one before we were opening up the brewery. And I'm like, Kyle, my wife, I'm like, we have to go. And she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So it was in their Brighton location in Boston. And you go, you pay like X dollars. That gets you a seat at the table.
Yeah.
It gets you a plate of sausage.
Yeah.
And then
I'm liking this so
sausage.
far.
Yeah.
you get to keep the Kolsch glass. So the Kolsch glasses are about like 7 ounces. They're like yay big,
Yeah.
thin, narrow. And it's where Notch actually got their name. So when you go to Cologne, Germany, and you sit down at one of these places, they basically come around. They have a tray loaded with Kolsch.
Yeah.
And they'll come around, and you raise your finger, they drop a glass. They put a mark, a notch,
Yeah.
on your coaster. And as you go, you accumulate notches. And at the end of the day, night, whatever it turns into,
Yeah.
they just add it all up and you get your bill. So at this Kolsch service, you're sitting there, you're making friends, you're eating,
Yeah,
drinking,
drinking,
everything.
yeah.
And you're just like,
Oh, I like that.
it's like a Brazilian steakhouse of beer. And
Yeah.
they're just like
Yeah.
throwing them in front
Yeah.
of you. And it's 7 ounces, so you're just like, whoop,
Yeah.
another one. And I want to say by the end of the night, I'm ashamed to admit how many we probably got. But like,
I would
It's-
just foam finger it. Just like, whoop, set it right here and just keep going.
it's just great that you can like knock these beers back, and it's such a
Yeah.
unique way of drinking beer. So we want to try to bring that in as well. Do like a
Yeah.
proper Kolsch service, do a proper alt beer service,
Yeah.
and like team up with like maybe like a local European food truck and kind of like bring that food in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Do it
dig
right.
that.
Yeah. That sounds like a good
So
one.
big things are happening.
Yeah.
A
Oh my
lot of
God.
things on the horizon,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
in the future.
Horizons are good though.
They are. But yeah, we're excited to open, and it's going to be touch and go as we kind of like figure things out, like any other brewery when they first open up their business. And so I just can't wait till we get to that point, and then I can't wait till we get comfortable with like what we're dealing with, and we can like really start to get
Until you
in
get
there.
comfortable to make yourself uncomfortable again to
Exactly.
for the next step.
And isn't that what it is? It's constantly getting out of your circle and then like putting yourself back in, and that's the human experience.
That's awesome.
Well, Chris, thank you for
Absolutely.
inviting us, and we enjoyed the hell out of it. We can't wait till opening day.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
The door is always open to you guys whenever you want.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad that
We're proud of you. We, you know, we know things, and we're just very proud.
Yeah.
Very proud.
I don't know
Appreciate it.
anything. I just know what I like to drink, and this
Yes.
was amazing.
Thank you.
Full of yummies.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is.
I can't wait. I can't wait to have more.
Yeah, this is.
Well,
the
we can after the
best-
camera shut off. We'll,
Yeah.
we do like a ticker. Like, as we go.
We'll do notches.
And remember, drink responsibly.
Well, thank you for having us, and make sure you guys check out Dead
Dead
Language
Language Beer Project.
and especially follow them on social media,
Especially the grams.
especially the grams. And as always,
Drink responsibly. Stay wobbly. We're gonna catch you on the next one. Cheers.
deuces.